I didn't know what this was about, and so I was like scanning her Instagram, and basically she had lost her son right after Christmas, maybe. Starting off the vlog, it is Saturday of the long weekend. Happy Saturday, everyone. We have been rushing all morning. Where are we going? No, what are we going to do?
Sell cookies.
We're going to be selling cookies. How you feeling?
Good.
Good? We sold a lot of cookies, huh? So we just finished our first cookie booth.
But how many cookies did I sell?
Huh? She sold, the accounting is ridiculous, but we brought 43 boxes. We took home 8 boxes, which means that we sold like 35 boxes.
No, how many did we sell together?
70. That's how we got to the 35. So that was good. Huh?
All together?
Mm-hmm. All together. Champion. Now it is really late. It's like 2 o'clock. Whenever the shift was. Oh, that's perfect. Live. Okay, great. Yep, two here. No, we're good. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So it is really late. She was dying of hunger in the last 45 minutes. This is what I got. I got blackened salmon. Looks pretty good. I ordered her 2 beef quesadillas. So yeah. And we were really lucky because the weather is like amazing. Okay. I am sitting here not really knowing what to do. You know how sometimes you try to get a whole ton of things done, and okay, so I did did a Costco Trader Joe's thing today. Baby is sleeping, girls are watching a movie, and I have a second to sit down and think. And I'm like, the thing I'm thinking about is it's these plastic, when I was younger, essentially, these plastic charm necklace. It like came like a necklace, and then you could buy the like these different charms, and they actually have it, and apparently it's like an 80s thing, and this is what it looks like. It had these like little hooks. It had these little hooks right here, and you can buy these different things. And for some reason, I don't understand why they don't have something like that now, because I think my 4-year-old, I think actually both girls would really like something like this, and I think it would be fun to be able to, you know, like baseball cards or whatever, like every time they go to the store they got a new charm to add, and I don't know why they don't I don't know why they don't have this stuff. Anyway, I did want to make a vlog this week, and I didn't actually film. I'm going to talk about this week, but I think eventually, I'm still just trying to get back into vlogging, but I think eventually I will try to be like film more in the moment. This past week was, I thought it was on the rise, and it had an up, and then it was kind of like downhill from there. I think the holidays were just really, really tough. It was a really tough time, and it's been taking me a while just to even recover from the holidays. And I'm the type of person who is kind of like optimistic about the holidays. I mean, I like the idea of the holidays, but historically the holidays have always just been not an easy time. It just hasn't been an easy time. It's really a hard time to get through. Early on in the week, it was basically mid-January, and this cloud of the holiday had kind of been lifted. Now I dropped off the kids. When I dropped off my second daughter, the teacher asked, "Oh, are you signing her up for kindergarten?" And I was like, oh, no, I wasn't thinking about doing that because, you know, I'll just have her go to the next class. And she was like, oh, or she said, did you sign her up for kindergarten? I said, no, not yet. She's like, because if you don't sign her up, then she'll be stuck with me for 2 years. And I wasn't thinking about it. I was thinking that there was another class in between the class that she's in and kindergarten, but there isn't. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad that you told me that. And I went to go pick up an application when I left. When I came back from work to go pick them up, I was like filling out the application and I had some questions because the way the kindergarten works is it would, like, the hours are different, and it was, for me, a steep jump from what I'm paying for her now to with a certain number of hours, and then like to kindergarten, which would be less hours and way more. So I just had some questions about it, and the owner happened to be at the front desk, and I happened to ask her the questions because the other person at the front desk was helping someone else. And she was like, oh, it's only $5 more. And I was like, wait, it's not $5 more. I'm apparently on some like grandfather rate, and I guess they haven't raised it for me, which is really nice, because I think in previous places, if the rate went up, it just went up. Doesn't matter when you came into the school. And she realized I was like, it's not just a $5 jump. And she realized that how much a jump it would be for me, she kind of waived one portion of the additional fee, because their schedule and pay structure is different, and that helped me out a lot. And that was like really nice of her to do on the spot. And I was like, wait, can you do that? She's like, I just did. And she's the owner, so that was just so nice. It was so nice. And it was like one less thing off my shoulders, particularly having had to recover from the previous weekend, which I posted about the emergency room. And I will link it in a card if I can figure out the card, or I'll link it down below in the description. You can watch that video. That was a very stressful weekend. And again, the holidays, there's just been like a cloud since the holidays. So like 2 weeks after post New Year's, and it was like, finally, the cloud has been lifted. I feel great. I feel happy. I haven't felt this good in like several weeks. And so I thought everything was looking good up until then. But then of course life happens, and then just my week went downhill from there. And this recovery from the holidays felt like, okay, I guess life continues to be difficult. And it was basically had a really tough time at work. Work has been extremely stressful. I've just been in back-to-back meetings all week. I mean, it's just kind of like ever since we had a full week from the new year, so I think that was like the 6th-ish, it's just been back-to-back meetings. I'm working on a really big project, and it's just been meetings and all of this stuff coming at me, and it's just been kind of ridiculous. And basically I kind of got shot down in a meeting, and I had a meeting with that person after that meeting that I got shot down, and he was doing a screen share, and he was talking with his manager and on IM, and during that screen share their IM popped up. And I just think that if you are going to talk about someone in a not positive way, don't do it in written form communication, whether it be IM or email. Just say what you gotta say, have your communication between whoever you want to talk trash about, and then just like leave it at that. So that really upset me, and I called my friend, and she was like, oh, you should have. I was like, oh, I wish I could have said to them, and she was like, you should have just did it in a laughing way, and you could have just like wrote it off and it would just have been funny. And I was like, no, I just left. And then she was like, oh, you're just like chicken shit. Anyway, so yeah, I called my friend and I was pretty unhappy. And I feel like in terms of work, you shouldn't let things affect you that much, and yet it did, and I don't know why, and it was just annoying. But I called a friend, and she kind of helped me feel better, I guess. So I had been really upset that the rest of the week, and yeah, but I think on Friday things kind of picked up a little bit on in general, just picked up at work, and I think I had a slightly better grasp of the project and whatever, and it just, yeah. Another interesting thing that happened, oh, I'm wearing I'm still wearing my holiday outfit. This is like my favorite outfit, honestly, and I'm still wearing it even though it is no longer the holidays. But another interesting thing that happened this week was my older daughter, my two daughters share a room, and then the older one, and originally they were not planning on sharing the room. So like there's like a really big room that's for the my younger daughter, but when we moved here, we just had them we just had them / they wanted to, I guess, sleep in the same room because it's like a new house and whatever. And so they had been sleeping in the same room since we had moved. And then this past week, my older daughter just wanted, you know, it seemed out of the blue, wanted to sleep in her room, her own room, and which she had never done before. And I was like, oh, this is like already a difficult week. And I didn't know how my younger daughter was going to take it. Like, was she going to feel lonely? Was she going to feel sad? Was she going to have trouble sleeping because her big sister was not there? And my older daughter said that she was only going to sleep in her room for 2 days, and then she would move back. And then like the first night, it was fine. And I think it was kind of good because my younger daughter was like really super tired. So I think like when I turned off the light, she like pretty much fell asleep right away. And then thereafter, she did not complain. She was not sad about it. She didn't get up, nothing. So I was really surprised about that. And then after 2 days, my older daughter continued to sleep in her own room. And I eventually asked her, I was like, oh, I thought you were only gonna sleep in here for 2 days. And she's like, well, actually, I really like it here, and I want to, you know, sleep in here, which is fine. I just think it's really interesting. I think the progression is interesting. I think my older daughter wanting to sleep in her own room is one step up. I think my younger daughter not being able to sleep in her own room, being able to sleep in the room that she always sleeps in, but without her older sister, I think that is a big step. And it's like, oh my gosh, these girls are growing up so fast, and it is so crazy. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was this thing that had been on my mind. For the most part, I watch YouTube, obviously. Well, I don't know if it's obvious, but my primary form of media is YouTube. I don't watch TV. I don't really watch movies. I don't watch movies or anymore. And I don't watch TV shows or anything like that, Netflix or anything like that. And so I mainly watch, you know, family / mom vloggers, and I watch the beauty community and some other random things like Jenna Marbles and other accounts. And I've recently been watching actually like watercolor painting channels and things like that. But I think a couple weeks to maximum 3 weeks ago, YouTube started recommending this one mom vlogger. And So I gave her a try, and I was like, I'm not really like that into her, but it kept coming in my recommended feed, and she does have like catchy titles or catchy thumbnails, like combination of, and so I have reluctantly / increasingly been watching her, and I took no note of the timestamps of her videos. So and she has quite a lot of videos, and then I started following her on Instagram, I think this week, literally this week. And I happened to click on her stories, and she was talking about what I saw was someone getting their blood drawn for a cause. And I didn't know what it meant. And then she was like talking about how someone made her sweatshirts for this cause and things like that. And I didn't know who this, the name was. And so I kind of started like creeping more her Instagram. Like I like looked at her pictures, but I didn't read the description. And I saw that like a pregnancy photo, and I read the top line saying like, oh, I never had a chance to post my pregnancy. I never had a chance to post my pregnancy photos, and also, but I didn't read beyond that. And also when I was like watching her videos, like, and I wasn't fully subscribed to her. She was just showing up on my recommended. It would be like mom of 3, mom of 5, mom of 4. And I was like, how many kids does she have? I have no idea. And what I knew after watching her unintentionally for about 2 weeks, I knew that she had like a stepdaughter. Her name is Brittany Boren Leach, and I knew she had a stepdaughter, a boy with her ex-husband, and then 2 or 3 boys with her current husband. And I was and the initiative, the cause that she was talking about on her Insta stories was called like Cruise Crew. And I didn't know what this was about. And so I was like scanning her Instagram, and basically she had lost her son right after Christmas, maybe, which is just like 3-4 weeks ago. And she lost her baby. And from what I read, and she hasn't posted on YouTube for 3 or 4 weeks, but I didn't know that because again, I've been watching her videos, but they were on my recommended feed. I wasn't taking note of timestamps. And it turns out, I think her baby was probably like 3 or 4 months, a boy. And she said that he was taking a nap at a relative's house. Maybe she went to go visit a relative during the holidays, and when she went to go check on him, the baby wasn't breathing. And then she has like several Instagram posts about the baby in the hospital, about baby being on the ventilator, the doctor trying to figure out how much brain damage happened to the baby, and then having to make difficult decisions about the baby. And then eventually the baby died, and they opted to donate some of his organs to help other babies. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And it was, I've just been thinking about it a lot lately, and I don't know if she addressed what happened, why he stopped breathing. Did he get caught in a blanket? Did he have any underlying issues? I don't think he had any underlying issues. It kind of makes me think it was SIDS, because now having a boy, it jogged my memory that SIDS is more common in boys. Just SIDS, sudden infant death, where they just stop breathing when they are sleeping. Was he sleeping on his tummy? Like, I don't know if she's going to address it, but I have been thinking a ton about her and her family and her and like what she's going through, and I cannot even imagine. And I don't know, like, because like I said, she just happened to appear on my recommended feed. I wasn't hooked on the first video, let me just say, but I reluctantly slash not reluctantly, because I watched it. I mean, no one was like putting a gun to my head to watch, but I wasn't watching with the intent of like, oh my gosh, she's so amazing or whatever. She like slowly grew on me, and I thought after watching her for a few weeks, like she is interesting, and her story is interesting. So she got married and pregnant very young and divorced very young. I think she said like she was a single mom by the time she was 23, and then she met her husband on some dating app, and her husband is quite older, like 11 years older, and she had like all these babies, and he encouraged her to start a YouTube channel, and she's doing pretty good on YouTube channel, and I envy kind of stay-at-home moms, or I admire, not envy, but like I admire stay-at-home moms who well, I envy that they can be stay-at-home moms, but then I admire that they can take a situation of being a stay-at-home mom and growing it into something more. I think that's admirable. And so I just think, you know, having this, you know, envy slash admiration, I guess you can say, and then realizing she is dealing with such a tragic loss, and she's not the only one who is dealing with a loss, but it's like you know, connect with someone on YouTube, and then it's just like, it's pretty tragic. And then you see some comments, and I saw this one commenter on a couple of her posts who commented long things, and I'm like, are they friends? And so I kind of like checked her account, and then she lost her child, not as an infant, as like a toddler, for in regards to a drowning incident. And I just think it's true, like, hold on to your babies. Don't get as frustrated if you are frustrated. I think really the worst that can happen is you lose them. I guess, I don't know. So that is something I've been thinking about quite a lot this week. Comes in back with another nurse practitioner. She just says he has to go to the ER. And I'm like,